people die. Okay. Now they did not go to heaven, but they also did not go to hell. They were like in a purgatory state, in between. Okay.
No, no, it wasn't purgatory. It's what later would be called Abraham's bosom. Okay, which was the language there. I can't reference it for you, and I apologize. But if you research Abraham's bosom, it was a compartmentized uh, heaven hell kind of thing. Okay, where it was the lower parts of the earth. You had Abraham's bosom, which would also better known as paradise, and then you had a great gulf fix, had this big gap, and then you had torments. Now, that was emptied out the moment Jesus was raised from the dead and ascended to the Father.
That was my question. The question being that obviously when these people died, there was no Christianity, there was no Jesus at the time. So
Correct.
were all the souls saved and admitted into heaven?
Yeah, the believers, the true believers from the Old Testament, were raised to life, or they were already alive in Abraham's bosom, or, if you will, paradise. That was emptied out, and God and Jesus brought them to heaven.
Okay.
And then you have the people in Hades who remain. And I don't know if there's another compartment. I know later that will be emptied. Okay, hell will be emptied into what's called the lake and fire and brimstone, which is later. It's during the eschatological moment in history, or if you will, the end times.
Yeah.
Where Satan and his demons will be cast into lake and fire, and all the people who don't believe will be there. That's why, guys, you got to read Matthew 7. That's scary, scary, scary. Elisa, I know you're still Catholic. Please, please, for the mercy, love, please examine what Catholics are teaching you, because, my friend, I don't care how holy they are or how holy they look. Many holy people have led other people to hell. Okay? So just because the Dalai Lama looks holy doesn't mean that the Dalai Lama believes in God nor believes in the true God. He actually is Buddhist, which means he believes in himself as a God, if you will. There is no God. It's just humanity and consciousness. When the Dalai Lama dies, he believes he'll be in an eternal state of consciousness and really be dead. So his goal is to die, just die a good person without going back and reincarnating. So, look, the Dalai Lama is considered one of the holiest people in the world, but he's going to hell. He's going to hell just like the Pope is going to go to hell, just like any cardinal or bishop. If they don't believe in the true Jesus and in the right way, okay, I realize they believe in the right Jesus, but they don't believe him in the right way. They think that their Judaistic laws and rules, which, by the way, they've stolen from the Jews, are what's going to bring them to heaven. They believe in what's called a works-based faith. I want you to keep that in your head, Elisa. Works-based faith is damning, very damning, and the Bible tells us it's damning. You got to get out of there and get out of there fast. Get into a Bible-believing church. Let them teach you the Word of God. If you want me to, Elisa, I will help you find a church that will be better suited to teach you the Word of God as it's meant to be read. Not someone's interpretation, but its own interpretation. Does that make sense? Elisa?
I think Lisa may have left us. We didn't know about it.
I don't know what she went. Oh, I pray for her soul. I pray for your soul, guys. So anyway, that's a fun little study. Do you guys understand the significance there?
Yes.
Of Jesus having to die at the right time, at the right moment? It's kind of an interesting race to the end between Satan and Jesus and God. You know, he's trying to stop this whole thing from happening. But what I think is hilarious is between the Jews and Pilate and Herod, they kind of ruined the whole thing for Satan. So
Yeah.
praise God that happened. Otherwise, Jesus wouldn't be able to atone for us.
Okay.
You guys have any thoughts?
No, you covered everything perfectly.
Okay. I don't know if I did. That was pretty fast. I mean, I'd love to get into a more
Well,
deeper
you got to
study.
understand that's about all we can handle at one time. You know.
Sure. No problem. So what do you guys think? Why? Mark, let me start with you. I'm going to start on you.
What do
I'm
you
going to beat
start
you
on
up a
me?
little bit more.
Start
Can I
on
beat you up?
start on Felix. Come on.
Because I don't answer him.
You're the talker.
Yeah, well,
Or
make
in New York City, you would say talker.
Talker.
Yeah,
That's a native New Yorker. A native New Yorker.
Yorker. Well, it doesn't matter which one of you. Anybody can answer.
Well, because Felix knows if he's quiet long enough, then I'm going to wind up talking anyway.
That's true. I'm trying to.
I'm really, Felix had some awesome conversations. I get going on Felix. I'll pick on you, Felix. That's a good idea, Mark. Thanks for that. I think I'm going to pick on you.
The show's over anyway, so it don't matter.
You have to understand that for a teacher, the worst thing in the world, when you ask a question, every supervisor tells you got to give the kids time to process and respond. But a teacher asks a query and, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, the longer it's quiet, that's the worst thing for a teacher. So that's why the teacher starts talking again, So
exactly. Make them uncomfortable.
Yep. Anyway.
So, Felix, the question I have for you is, what do you think this whole faith thing is? Do you have faith in Jesus Christ?
Faith in Jesus Christ? I don't know.
You have faith in him?
I'm still not convinced.
Okay. Well, I can't make you convinced.
I understand that.
Oh, I can only show you what the scriptures say. But let me ask you this question. I'm just curious, Felix. What's stopping? What do you think is in your mind that's stopping you from? I know ultimately why you don't believe. Okay, I don't want to get into it spiritually, but I'm just curious what's in your head. Why do you think you don't believe? What's stopping you? What is making you feel like it's just not sufficient for me? I just can't do it. I don't know why, but maybe there's something in your head that you're thinking, I just don't like this part. Is there anything that you can think of, or is it just that you merely not convinced? Period.
I'm not there yet. I just, I have a lot of doubts about the whole thing, and I have a lot of doubts about the way things happen. And
what was the first thing you said? I missed that first part. You have a lot of doubts about what?
But the religion.
Just about religion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just...
Hey, Felix, let me start with this, hon. I'm just curious, okay? Would you consider yourself an atheist?
No.
You would not consider yourself an atheist?
I don't think so. But
what else are you if you don't believe? What is it that you do believe?
In the past, I've always believed that there's got to be something higher than us, a God, a creator that existed.
Yeah.
But I never really went past that too much. It's hard for me to believe a lot of the stuff that's going on, that God will allow certain things. I know you've explained it, but to tell me that God would not allow my parents and my grandparents to go to heaven.
The God from the Bible just... Oh, go ahead, Felix. What's up?
Excuse me? Hello?
I'm here.
I thought I lost you. Yeah. It's hard for me to accept that if there's a God, that he would let good people just go to hell.
Well,
I hear scratching or something. Is there something going on in the background, you guys?
Yeah, Felix is moving his body forward and back, and what you hear is the creaking of his bones.
Gotta put some oil in them bones, man.
Felix needs needs what the Tin Man needs in The Wizard of Oz. He needs the oil can,
yeah.
An oil can. That's what I said. You need to put oil in them bones.
You heard that, huh?
Hey, we could break into a.
Well, I think it's a chair or something that's creaking. Yeah.
You're exactly right.
It was a chair. Yeah.
You see that? If this was one of those quiz shows, you would have won.
So you're making me feel uncomfortable, so I'm turning around because I have trouble answering you.
Well, I have.
Yeah, I do the same. I
don't want to ease Felix's burden at all by opening my mouth now, but of course I feel compelled to do so.
Hold on, write that thought down, Mark, because I do want to hear it. I want to hear it, but I gotta ask Felix some more questions. I want to get into this a little bit with him.
Go right ahead.
All right, I gotta know something, Felix. So I understand that you think that there could be a creator, and I'm just reiterating what you're saying. So just correct me if I'm wrong, okay? So you don't believe necessarily that the world was created by a Big Bang or some naturalistic explanation. You think it was created by some supernatural being we call God, but your problem is that you don't really know what God it is.
Well, I thought I did.
Right? Okay, what do you mean you thought you did? What? Tell me more about that. What do you mean?
Well, I usually just think there was only one God, and that was it. And you start bringing up the ideas that, well, which God you talking about? I always thought the Jews and the Catholics always believed in the same God. They just believed in it in different ways.
Well, it is in essence, it's the same God. It really is. The Jews, the Catholics, and the Christians. We all worship this. Well, let me go back. I'm using the term worship very loosely because I don't agree with it. Okay? I'm against all religions that put itself against the knowledge of God. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 3 through 5. Look, the Catholics, the Jews, and the Christians all believe in the same God. We believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We believe, now where the Jews split is when we get to the New Testament. Okay, you believe in the God from the Old Testament, which is the same God that we believe in, except he's manifest into three persons, which is what the Jews don't believe. Okay? Mm-hmm. So yes, to answer that first part, we absolutely all believe in the same God.
Well, let me ask you: do you believe that the Muslims believe in the same God?
No, because the character God, the character Allah, is characterized differently in the Quran than it is in the Bible. See, the Jews, the Christians, and the Catholics can all say at least, okay, where we get our authority from is the scriptures, or at least we know the scriptures that tell us about who God is. The Muslims believe in the authority of the Quran, which is the writings and testimony of Prophet Muhammad. Okay, when you look at the character of Allah, it's radically a different God. I'll give you some examples. Allah is a non-loving, non-personal being. He doesn't love the same way as God the Father does and the Trinity does in the Old and New Testament. Allah gives authority on earth for you to kill people. There was a point in time where God does do that in the Old Testament, but it was not the same as the one Allah has done. In fact, his work continues to kill the infidels because it puts itself against Allah. There's other characteristic traits that set itself differently than the God from the Bible. For instance, our God, the Christian and Catholic God, okay, our Trinity, was able to die on the cross for our sins. The Muslims say God can never die on the cross. Okay, so their view of God